Welcome to my talk When Strategy Builds a Tool. You will learn in this video how you can use Miro to create an AI software just from a few strategy slides. I've presented this talk the first time at Miro conference Canvas 26 in London and recorded it for our online and the Miro community. My name is Martin Szugat. I'm the founder and managing director of Datentreiber, a data and AI business consulting, training and tooling company. In this video, I'll demonstrate you our newest Miroverse template, the Data and AI Use Case Manager. You find this template in many other useful tools, such as our Data and AI Business Catalyst on my Miroverse profile. Before I present the Data and AI Use Case Manager, let's start with the problem. It's a problem everyone knows working at a company. Every few years, you create a new business strategy presentation. Maybe there's also data or an AI strategy. They all live on your SharePoint. Or should I better say they die on the SharePoint graveyard. The moment you upload your strategy on the SharePoint, it's out of date and no one cares about your strategy. We've seen this over and over again at our clients. Your strategy dies in silence. And the reason is because your strategy is just a one-time presentation, but it's not part of your daily operation. Your strategy needs to become a tool that helps your employees to make better decisions, to guide them towards your company's vision. So I'll show you how to turn your strategy into a software tool that helps your employees to execute your strategy. That's Datentreiber strategy as software approach. To demonstrate this strategy as software approach, I show you a demo about an AI-generated AI software for AI use case management. That's a lot of AI, so let me explain. We will use Miro and Lovable, an AI vibe coding tool, to generate from some strategy slides a management software. That's the first AI. Then this software will use AI to analyze user stories. That's the second AI. And it will propose AI use cases for those user stories. That's the third AI. So this AI-generated AI software will help us to manage our data and AI use cases. And it helps us to decide what is our next best use case. Thus, to focus on the AI project that has the biggest impact on our strategy. So let's start. So here you can see the whole template in an overview. You see the presentation. You see on the left side a tutorial. So I won't go into all details here. If you have any questions or like to repeat it, just read the tutorial on the left side. So the first thing you start is you upload your strategy presentation here into this frame on the Miro board. So for this example, we searched the internet and just used an existing presentation by the Mitsubishi Corporation, the Corporate Strategy 2027. Let me zoom out. And then this is your first step. And the second step is you use an AI flow, the so-called OKR extraction prompt, to extract all the objective and key results from this strategy presentation. So you could just hit here run step and the AI flow will execute it. It will execute this OKR extraction prompt and you see here the result of it. I will not hit the run step button because it will take a minute or two. But just show you the result of it. And you see here, it identified multiple objectives. And for each objective, it also extracted some key results. So let's focus on the first objective. It's the deliver sustainable high growth and operating cash flow. So remember this objective. This could be for your company a completely different objective, like reducing costs or increasing customer satisfaction. So here it is, optimizing operating cash flow. So let's zoom out. So this was the first AI flow step. Then there's a second one. So we use those objective and key results to derive some prioritization criteria that we later on use to prioritize our AI projects, AI use cases, AI solution applications, whatever you call it. And here again, we have a prompt. You don't have to understand all the details of this prompt. You can read it if you want to like it. But what it does, for each objective and key results, it tries to come up with a proposal on how to implement this objective and key result as a strategic prioritization criteria. Again, you can hit here run step, or by the way, you could also anytime to execute both AI flow steps by run flow from here. Again, I will not demonstrate this because it will take a minute or so or 2 minutes. execute. But here you can see the result, what's happening here. So it created in total 12 different prioritization criteria. It created 4 prioritization criteria for the dimension of viability. So in the end, our strategy or data and AI strategy needs to be viable. It needs also to be desired, so the user must accept it, they must use the data and AI solutions, and of course it must be feasible. So that's why we use those 3 dimensions and 4 prioritization criteria per dimension. But I mean, 12 prioritization criteria are way too much to use for every single AI use case. So we have to focus on, let's say, 6 prioritization criteria, so 2 per those 3 dimensions. And you see here, there is again one prioritization criteria which is linked to our first objective, this operating cash flow contribution. So this is one way to assess the quality or the impact of our data and AI use cases. So, and now here comes the really important part. So, I mean, if you are not happy with what the AI flow created as an objective and key results or a prioritization criteria, you could any time change it. You could just edit the OKR set. You could edit here this table and then move on. So here is the human in the loop. You create something with AI and then check it and correct it, right? So, but for the next step, and this is, we must select 6 out of those 12 different prioritization criteria. We must be in the lead. So we must decide. And that's when we invite the stakeholders, like the managing director or the managing board, to this board and do a small, fast workshop. So we change from the workflow into the workshop mode and let the stakeholders vote. And for that, you can see here, we created for all those 3 dimensions, viability, desirability, and feasibility, the sticky notes. Each sticky notes represents 1 prioritization criteria, which was generated or used here with this great sticky notes from the previous table. And then we let the stakeholders use, for example, dot votes. So by tracking and dropping dot votes onto the sticky notes, they can prioritize those prioritization criteria. Can say, okay, operating cash flow contribution is really the most important prioritization criteria for viability, and capital efficiency impact is less important but still important. But the other 2, which has no dot votes on the sticky notes, are unimportant for AI, for example. So now you have the stakeholders involved, so you have the humans in the lead, and now we are going back to the workflow mode. We're letting another AI flow extract the selected or voted prioritization criteria. Here you can just again hit run step. Here's another very short prompt, and you can see here it extracted again the operating cash flow contribution. And what you can also see here is it has a weight, and it weighted 2. So remember those 2 those 2 dot votes on the sticky note, that's where the weights come from. So we do not just take the sticky notes, but also the dot votes into account here. So that's where the AI workflow in Miro ends. And now, and here comes the trick, the really interesting part. We are using Lovable, a vibe coding tool, to create a software that helps us to prioritize AI use cases, to manage AI use cases. That's why it's called the Data and AI Use Case Manager. And here you can see a link to Open Lovable. And on the right side, you see a prompt. And this prompt tells Lovable to use this Miro board. So you can see here the URL to the Miro board. And to use this Miro board as a specification on how to implement the Data and AI Use Case Manager and how to implement the scoring mechanism for our Data and AI use cases. But because the board also contains a lot of information like the strategy slides, which are not so important anymore because we already used it to extract OKRs and then derive prioritization criteria, we tell also the Lovable prompt not to use the whole Miro board, but use just specific frames. And this is what's here part of the prompt. And if you zoom out, you can see here there are different frames like Lovable, which contains the strategy-specific prioritization criteria, which are tailored to your company strategy. And there are some general app instructions, like a scoring rulebook, which explains Lovable how it should, in general, translate prioritization criteria in a scoring mechanism or a scoring logic. And there's also some called master specification, which describes what is a data and AI use case manager, what is the functions, what are the different screens, and so on. But you don't have to care about this one. You can just reuse it. If you're not happy with the data and AI use case manager, just change the master specification. If you're not happy with the scoring, change the scoring rulebook, and of course, upload your strategy presentation. So let me show what is the outcome. So here you can see a Lovable, and you can see here the prompt. So we already prepared it. There were some additional prompts to optimize the data and AI use case manager. I mean, that's up to you how much time you want to invest to make it even more better, your data and AI use case manager. And on the right side, you see a preview of this application. The application is also embedded into the Miro board here. You can see it here. But believe me, it's a really a working web app application. So it also runs outside Miro and also runs outside Lovable. For example, you could here click on the go to source URL. Oops, sorry. And here you see it's a standalone running application. It has a URL. And let me show you how to use it. So this is the final product. So we could use, for example, here the new use case idea form. For example, one of your users, your employees, your colleagues has an idea how to apply AI. He has a problem, and he enters the descriptions or the user story or use case description into this text box. So let's use AI to come up with an example. Here, I've noticed a lot of the customer tickets we get are pretty similar, especially about things like password research, a basic product, FAQs, blah, blah, and so on. So I will not read everything. But now we want to translate this text description of what is an AI use case in a more structured format, because we want to prioritize, we want to score it. So let's hit the structure with AI button. So maybe this takes a minute or so, or here just a few seconds. So it comes up, and here you see we used AI to generate this app, this software, and it also uses AI. It uses internal Lovable AI, and this AI analyzes the text, and it also comes up with some clarifying questions. It also extracts the details like a description, or comes up with a proposal for a title. And it also already assesses, so what data sources maybe we need, like the historical customer data, ticket data with categories. It also comes up with KPI proposals, how to measure the impact of this data and AI use case. And here you can see it also tries to assess the scoring for our prioritization criteria. So here you see the operating cash flow contribution. It says it has a 3 out of 5. So that's an average impact on this objective. We could say, yeah, I mean, you're just 50% confidence. We believe it has a much bigger impact, so we can overwrite the scoring and says it's a 4, for example. And finally, we can confirm it. So let's confirm all the other use case prioritization criteria, and then save use case. And then you can see here it's added to our data and AI use case catalog. There are already a few proposals within the use case. And now imagine a data and AI team. They have to implement those use cases, build or buy AI solutions. And of course, that's a lot to do. So they need a ranking. They need to prioritize it. And this is where the prioritization criteria and the scoring comes into play. Here you can see the ranking. And we have all the different use cases with a total score. Here it's, for example, 69. I think our AI use case ranks much lower. This automated customer support ticket, that's just a score of 62%, right? And here you can see the different scores on the right side in full detail. So you also could change the scoring. That's a little bit detailed. You can see here in the background, Lovable uses Gemini, a large language model. So everything is also can be configured. So that's it. That's how the data and AI use case manager work. So let's get back. So let me summarize what I've showed you. We have some strategy slides at the beginning, and Miro AI flow extract the OKR set from the strategy slides. Next, another AI flow derives prioritization criteria from those objectives and key results for our data and AI use cases. Remember, do not let the AI make your strategic choices, but put the human in the lead. So let the stakeholder vote on the most important prioritization criteria. Finally, we use the vibe coding tool Lovable to create the Data and AI Use Case Manager software. The Data and AI Use Case Manager tool also uses AI and our strategic prioritization criteria to evaluate our AI use cases. Here's what's new. This tool is tailored to your or to our strategy. If we change our strategy, our OKRs will change, and so will our prioritization criteria. And finally, the Data and AI Use Case Manager will also update and implement the new strategy. Strategy has become a software, strategy as software. So this was just a quick demo. If you want to dive deeper into the details or stay tuned about future versions, please join our free community on community.datentreiber.com. We publish additional AI accelerated templates and tools on a weekly basis. Finally, we do a monthly lunch and learn online where we present new tools, templates, or techniques for your data and AI business. Thank you very much.